This is Race to Power on WION The World is One. We are glad you're watching. I'm Eric Njoka. President Donald Trump's approval rating continues to nosedive, with the latest pollster indicating that support for his immigration policies remains intact among Republicans, but has declined significantly among independents. And by the way, 50% of Americans say they believe Trump was involved in the Epstein saga. And Pakistan's jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan's family is alleging a conspiracy to kill Imran Khan by Shehbaz Sharif government and the military. More about that shortly. We begin with the United States. All right, let's start with Pakistan and then go to the United States shortly. Pakistan's jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan's family has leveled serious allegations against the Shehbaz Sharif administration and the military leadership. Dr. Uzma and Alima Khan are pointing towards a conspiracy to kill Imran Khan. Uzma Khan alleged that Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir and Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi are involved in a plot to kill Imran Khan. She also claimed that Field Marshal Asim Munir will be responsible if anything happens to Imran Khan. The sisters affirm that the PTI founder fears for his life while in custody. Uzma Khan says Imran Khan himself has told her about a plot to kill him. Citing Imran Khan, she said, and I quote, "These people will kill me. They have made a plan to kill me." Imran Khan's other sister, Alima Khan, also raised concerns about her brother's health. She rejected the medical reports prepared by government-appointed doctors. Alima Khan says Imran Khan's eye condition is deteriorating and authorities are denying access to his trusted medical team. Both sisters also accused Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi of threatening Imran Khan's family for raising their voices. Imran Khan has been in jail since August 2023 and is currently serving a 14-year sentence on corruption charges. It's among dozens of cases that he claims were engineered by the Pakistani army to end his political career. However, Pakistan's military denies these claims. Let's now head to the United States. US President Donald Trump's popularity is declining. The issues and promises that propelled him to power are now affecting his approval ratings. From immigration crackdown to economy and Epstein saga, the polls show Americans are not happy with how Trump is handling these issues. When you talk about immigration, Donald Trump's approval ratings stood at 46% when he took office. And now, over a year later, it stands at 38%, down by 8%. ICE arrests and more recently Trump's Minnesota crackdown seems to have backfired for the US president. Moving on to economy. Donald Trump says US economy is greatest ever. However, the Americans seem to think otherwise. The US president's approval on economy has trickled down by 9%. When we compare it when his entry into the White House, the rating now stands at 34%. It is important to note that Joe Biden's approval ratings on economy were 34% when the Democratic leader left the office. Trump's overall approval rating shows a similar trend. His approval rating has tanked by 9% since January last year and currently stands at 38%. Let's talk about the ongoing Epstein saga. Trump has been named multiple times in 3 million files released by the Department of Justice. Democrats are accusing Donald Trump of trying to cover up Epstein files. A whopping 57% of respondents disapprove of Trump's administration's investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's case. Only 24% say they approve of it. On Trump's own involvement in the Epstein crimes, 50% of Americans say they believe Trump was involved. 30% say he was not involved. Earlier this month, Trump shared a video showing former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as apes. It immediately sparked a volley of racism charges against the Republican leader. On the question of Donald Trump being corrupt, racist and cruel, majority of the Americans seem to agree as per the YouGov poll. Although the number remains below 50%, it is on the higher side when we look at those who believe Trump is not racist, corrupt or even cruel. Dip in popularity comes at a very crucial time for Donald Trump. The US is heading for a high-stakes midterm battle later this year. Trump has time and again expressed concerns over losing upcoming midterms. Balance of power in the House of Representatives and Senate could flip if Republicans lose these elections. Trump has openly said that he will get impeached if he doesn't win the midterms. Now, according to the YouGov data, voting trends are ringing alarm bells for Republicans. 47% of the Americans say they will vote for Democrats, while 40% say they will vote for Republicans. Trump's own popularity crisis, coupled with poor favorability among Republicans, could be an early warning sign. Recent losses in mayoral elections show changing trends in American politics, and there's very little time left for pushback before November midterms. Let's now talk to our correspondent, Susan Teherani. She's joining us live from New York. Susan, it's good to see you. Hi. There's a lot of talk that is revolving around the Epstein saga because the Trump administration says, and it has been pushing back for a very long time, but do you really think Trump will handle this saga?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that analysts say that there's a short while until November, and there is no doubt that usually when the president's approval ratings are this low and there is so much trouble, it's hard to imagine that things will turn around. But again, from now until November, a lot can happen. The problem with the Epstein files is that despite the fact that, for example, the Biden administration had these files and sat on it, they didn't release it. And it was the Trump administration that released it ultimately to the public. The manner that it was released and that it was handled by the Justice Department was just not satisfactory to many people, including those in Trump's own camp. They just butchered it. They released it in a way. It's almost like throwing someone a birthday party and then, ruining the surprise in the birthday party. The intention was there, but the execution was just absolutely diabolical. And it's just hard to imagine, just putting aside the fact that whether Trump was in it or not, just the way that it was handled has now become a main election midterm issue. I mean, who would have thought that? So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect that's very concerning, that's going to be important to watch and see whether Trump can turn it around or not. I looked at these polls, and his approval ratings among the younger generation, Gen Z, notably young men, who helped him get into the White House, is at an all-time low as well. That has nothing to do with the Epstein files. That's more about the economy and healthcare. People are concerned about President Trump's big, beautiful bill and how it will impact their healthcare costs here in the United States. So again, can they get the messaging back on track? Can people feel it in their pocketbooks, their pocket checks? And then the issue of the handling of the Epstein files, that really, something's got to give at this point.
Something's got to give. Let's talk more about the Epstein files, because Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton say they are going to go before the committee, and they're ready for the questioning because they have nothing to hide. But Americans are also asking, why is Donald Trump not being questioned by the committee? What is the talk around that?
We don't have Donald Trump as, someone that's really outright in the files and those emails like we do with the Clintons. I mean, you can say some of this is partisanship, some of it is political, but Bill Clinton is front and center in those photos, and there's just so much of him in there. Again, partisanship to the side, it's hard to imagine how Donald Trump would get involved, considering the fact that Virginia Giuffre, Ghislaine Maxwell, and even Epstein himself didn't particularly name him in those files. So, that's one aspect of it. Another aspect is there's just no hard evidence that he was, in Epstein's circle to a certain extent. I mean, again, we haven't seen all the files. There is so much files left. But what we have released, I guess, that's the benefit of having Republicans in the House of Representatives. They can call the Clintons to come and testify. It's hard to imagine, though, anything is going to come out of these testimonies. And I think that's the frustrating part for many Americans and many people who are watching this saga, is at the end of the day, who's really going to be held accountable.
All right, we have several months until November for the midterm elections, but a lot is about to happen, so let's just watch out for it. Susan, it's good to see you. Thank you. Let's move on now. India's western state of Gujarat has released its final electoral roll. State's registered voter count contracted by 13%. The total number of voters now stands at 4.40 crore. The figure comes after a special intensive revision drive conducted by the Election Commission of India. In Gujarat, the final roll records 440,000. Now let me just go through that again. 4,403,725 voters. This is a marginal increase of 5.6 lakh names from the draft list published in December. Over 9.56 lakh voters were added, while 3.95 lakh were deleted, resulting in a net change of 1.29%. Ahmedabad saw the highest additions, while Surendra Nagar was the only district to record a net decline. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. Under the 2025 to 2026 revision drive, around 6.56 crore names were removed from draft rolls across 12 Indian states and union territories. Uttar Pradesh recorded the highest deletions, that is 2.89 crore names, followed by Tamil Nadu, where 97.37 lakh names were removed. Gujarat recorded 73.73 lakh deletions in draft stage. West Bengal recorded removal of 58.2 lakh names. In Bihar, around 65 lakh names were deducted, while Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan over 40 lakh voters. Officials say most deletions were due to deaths, migration and duplicate entries. In the poll-bound state of West Bengal, the revision sparked a fierce legal battle. Violence was reported in several places where people burned official papers and tried to stop the SIR process. The ECI suspended several state officials and filed FIRs for allegedly including fake voters, breaching data security and misusing statutory powers. State Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee accused the ECI of wrongly deleting 58 lakh names of real citizens. TMC chief personally appeared before the Supreme Court to challenge the process. She urged them to follow 2025 election list for this year's election, which is expected to take place in April. The opposition Congress party has demanded criminal action against those who allegedly filed false Form 7 applications and sought for the deletion. Meanwhile, the Election Commission maintains that claims and objections were verified. Voters can still apply for inclusion or correction through Form 6, 7 and 8. The Special Intensive Revision, or SIR, is a large-scale verification exercise conducted by the Election Commission of India. Both level officers go door-to-door for verification processes. Now, after this, the names of deceased persons, permanently migrated residents and duplicate registrations are identified or even removed as India prepares for the upcoming polls for 5 state assemblies. The updated electoral rolls are now at the center of both administrative reform and controversy. India's Election Commission has announced biennial polls for the country's upper house. Rajya Sabha elections for 37 seats is scheduled for the 16th of March. The seats are scattered across 10 states, with ruling BJP alliance in power in 6 states. Party that holds power in state is likely to clinch more seats. Elected assembly members are the ones who vote for Rajya Sabha elections. This means that the ruling NDA has its edge in Maharashtra, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Assam, Bihar and Haryana. Over 20 seats going to polls are located in these states, paving the way for the ruling alliance to expand its majority in the upper house. In contrast, opposition parties are in power in Himachal Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana and West Bengal, where a total of 14 seats are up for grabs. It is important to note that having government in state does not guarantee victory for the party's nominated candidates or all seats. The voting for Rajya Sabha takes place using a system of proportional representation. Under this arrangement, lawmakers rank candidates on the ballot as per their preference. This system ensures each party gets to send its candidate to Rajya Sabha based on their representation in the assembly. Among the prominent members that are set to retire are Sharad Pawar, Union Minister Ramdas Athwale, Congress leader Abhishek Manu Singhvi, TMC leader Saket Gokhale, and Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh Narayan Singh. You're watching WION Race to Power. Time now for a short break. Just ahead, we get you the latest from Philippines, where Vice President Sara Duterte has announced her presidential bid despite impeachment challenges that could bar her from contesting. Stay with us.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You are watching Race to Power on WION World is One. Peru's Congress has impeached interim President Jose Jerry just 4 months after he took office. This after a majority vote in Congress following a scandal over undisclosed meetings with a Chinese businessman. Jerry was the 7th head of state in 10 years and only the latest to be toppled over graft allegations. 75 lawmakers voted in favor of his removal, 24 voted against, and 3 abstained. Congress will now elect a new speaker who will also assume the presidency of Peru. Jerry is the 3rd consecutive Peruvian president to be removed from office. A group of Peruvians celebrated his ouster, saying they supported Congress's decision and were outraged by the scandals surrounding Jerry.
He was incapable. There were brothels in the government palace. Women entered all the time and left with high salaries. And who does this money belong to? The people. He said these women went to the palace for work. Which work? Which work have they done? It's disgusting, to be honest. They must clean and fumigate the government palace.
Very good. Long live Peru. We're always standing, never kneeling. Now, I tell my suffering people, which have been subjected to thousands of forms of slavery, never again, not one more vote to these far-right parties. We will not trust them at all because they've proven their immorality and incapacity.
Last week, prosecutors opened an investigation into whether he used undue influence in government appointments. Although Jerry denied any wrongdoing, he is constitutionally barred from running in the next election. Jerry was appointed last year after the impeachment of unpopular leader Dina Boluarte. He was expected to serve the remainder of Boluarte's term, which runs until July. A new president is set to take office after elections scheduled for April 12th. Since 2016, 4 presidents have been impeached. 2 stepped down to avoid the same fate, and only 1 managed to complete his full term. Analysts say a power struggle between a powerful Congress and the executive, along with chronic corruption and low public trust, has led to Peru's rapid turnover of presidents. The Vice President of the Philippines, Sara Duterte, has announced her presidential bid. Duterte declared that she will run for the presidential office in 2028. This sets the stage for a high-stakes political showdown in the Southeast Asian nation of 116 million people.
Mga kababayan,
My countrymen, let us bring back the courage and devotion for God, for the nation, and for every family and Filipino people. I am Sara Duterte, and I am running as the next president of the Philippines.
Duterte accused President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. or Bongbong of corruption and betrayal, saying that he failed to honor commitments made during their short-lived alliance, which led them to a landslide victory in the 2022 elections. Under the Constitution, the president is limited to a single 6-year term. Hence, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. cannot seek re-election. The announcement comes just days before her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, is scheduled to begin a pre-trial hearing at the International Criminal Court over crimes against humanity tied to his controversial war on drugs. Critics call her move a big risk, adding that Duterte maintains a strong base in her family's southern stronghold of Mindanao. Independent opinion surveys rank her as a strong contender in the 2028 race. Sri Lankan lawmakers have voted to scrap their own pensions, delivering on a major campaign promise made in the wake of the country's devastating economic crises. On Tuesday, lawmakers passed the bill by 144 votes in the 225-member House, with only 2 against it. The remaining legislators were not present during the vote. Under the previous system, members of parliament were entitled to a lifetime pension after serving just a single 5-year term. The new law halts pension payments not only for future lawmakers, but also for anyone who already qualifies or is currently receiving the benefit. The move comes as the island nation continues to recover from bankruptcy, mass protests, and years of public anger over political privilege. During his presidential campaign in 2024, Anura Kumara Dissanayaka had pledged to eliminate parliamentary pensions, arguing that politicians should not enjoy special privileges while the country struggles economically. In September last year, his government abolished benefits previously granted to former presidents, including state-funded housing, transport allowances, and pensions. Government officers and offices and even staff assigned to former presidents and their widows were also eliminated. Burdened with more than $83 billion in debt, the country declared bankruptcy in April 2022. This resulted in severe shortages of food, fuel, medicine, and electricity, triggering protests and forcing then-President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to resign. In 2023, the country secured a $2.9 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund, agreeing to restructure its debt as part of the recovery plan. And finally, on Race to Power, anti-government anger is intensifying in Serbia. Thousands of anti-government protesters rallied in capital Belgrade, demanding early elections and accountability of a trail canopy collapse that killed 16 people in November 2024. We leave you with this report. Thank you for watching.
Yes, no,
I see the way out of this situation in solidarity, in unity, that we join forces in the sense that as many people as possible will be engaged in the life in this country, because that is, in principle, the only way to succeed. Anything else, how should I say, it will be prolonged even more.
And welcome to a brand new edition of South India, a daily dynamic show that will capture the pulse of southern states.
By blending the special stories, the breaking alerts, and the culture developments as well.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
In West Asia, every move shifts the world's balance. Wars, ceasefires, alliances, power never stands still. From Tehran to Tel Aviv, from Damascus to Doha, the West Asia Post cuts through the chaos to reveal the region that shapes the world. Because what happens in West Asia never stays in West Asia. This is the